Welcome students to GS Analyst program of GS Score. So today we are going to see a topic from environment, green hydrogen policy. Now the green hydrogen has been seen as a renewable source of energy, and the recent green hydrogen policy is a watershed moment in the energy transition of our country. So India became the 18th country. India became the 18th country who has a comprehensive policy for green hydrogen. Now this policy will help or it would set in motion the process of decarbonization, especially in the heavy industries like steel, cement industry or in transportation. So if done properly and if we use green hydrogen as a fuel source, it can become a step towards decarbonizing. So before going into the incentives for green hydrogen industry, we will look at what green hydrogen is. Okay, so the hydrogen molecule, in whichever way you create it, it is carbon free, right? Carbon free. But creating this hydrogen molecule has different ways. Now depending upon the ways in which we are creating this hydrogen, we can categorize this hydrogen in different colors like gray hydrogen, brown or black hydrogen, blue hydrogen and green hydrogen. Now we are more interested in green hydrogen because it is 100% carbon free. So whenever we are trying to decarbonize an industry and we are willing to use renewable energy for it, we need to make sure that the source we are using is 100% renewable. Now quickly we will see how this hydrogen is produced. Different forms of hydrogens are produced. So first we will see the gray hydrogen. Gray hydrogen. Now this gray hydrogen can be produced by gasification of methane, CH4, or coal, right? Now when we are using methane as a source, we get carbon dioxide as byproduct. So it is not 100% green, right? Because we are getting CO2 released in the process of making this hydrogen. And if we use coal instead of methane, the carbon dioxide emission as a byproduct is even more. So for this category we call it as brown hydrogen or black hydrogen. So clearly we get hydrogen out of this process, gasification of methane or coal, but we cannot say it is renewable or 100% carbon free because we are getting carbon dioxide as byproduct. The next category comes is blue hydrogen. Now blue hydrogen is mostly the same process, but in this case we are able to capture the carbon dioxide which is being produced as byproduct. So gasification of methane or coal, but in this case carbon dioxide emitted is captured, and this captured ratio is around 80 to 90%. So still we are not able to capture 100% of the carbon released as byproduct, but still we are able to reduce the effect right? So this is blue hydrogen. Now the next category is turquoise hydrogen. Now this color code we do not gasify the methane here, we use a process called pyrolysis of methane, right? What is the benefit of doing pyrolysis here? Still we get CO2 as byproduct, but we can able to capture this CO2 in solid form. So due to this feature we are able to store it for a longer period of time, and the percentage of carbon capture is around 90 to 95%. So it is, if we say, it is more greener than blue hydrogen, but still all of these categories we cannot say it is 100% green or carbon free. So for renewable energy classification or for green economy or environment, we need green hydrogen. Now we will see how we can produce green hydrogen. It is simply by electrolysis of water, right? So when we electrolyze water, we get free hydrogen. Now this free hydrogen is carbon free, but again for the electrolysis process we need electricity, right? Electricity, and if this electricity comes from a fossil source, then again we cannot say it is a 100% green source, right? So we need to make sure that this electricity, the source should be renewable. Now if we define green hydrogen, this is a main condition, that we need to electrolyze water to produce hydrogen, and the energy used must be renewable energy. Now in this case we can say this green hydrogen is 100% carbon free. So now the policy or the policy makers are pushing for more production of green hydrogen, and they want to replace the traditional source of fuel by green hydrogen. So this may be a watershed moment for Indian industry in the energy transition aspiration of our country. Now we will see what incentives has been promised or given for green hydrogen producers in the recent policy. So if we talk about incentives. Now as we saw the process of producing green hydrogen, we can say that total cost of production have two components. Number one, the cost or capital cost of installing an electrolyzer and arranging the renewable source of electricity to perform the electrolysis process, right? Electricity. So these are the two areas which comprises the overall cost of production for green hydrogen. So now in this policy, the government is trying to provide the renewable source of electricity easily to the producers who are installing a plant for green hydrogen production. So what are the ways in which government is supporting in getting the renewable source of energy? Number one is waiver of interstate transmission system charge for around 25 years. Now what does it mean? See, when we produce electricity in a particular state and then distribute it to other state, so when this distribution happens from one state to other state, then charge need to be paid by the consumer who is getting that electricity is called interstate transmission system charge, right? So this charge is a burden. It is not possible that maybe it is possible, but in general cases, if a company is installing a unit for green hydrogen production in a particular state, he might need to get renewable energy electricity from other state. So in that case he has to pay this charge. So government has said that if you are installing a unit for green hydrogen production, then you will need not pay this amount for 25 years. Okay, so this is one very good step. Next is the access through state utilities. State utilities. Now the new unit or the company would be able to get the services of state utilities for storage or storing the surplus renewable sources. So in that case the state utilities will provide support. Next, they will get priority connectivity network from the interstate transmission systems. So they will be given a priority connectivity network from interstate transmission systems. Even other sources for getting renewable energy has been opened up, like the power exchanges. From here the company can get renewable energy source, and the other is open access network, open access source or mechanism. Open access mechanism. So even they will be having access to these two sources for renewable electricity. Even the distribution utilities, they are being instructed to provide renewable energy or electricity at minimum wheeling cost, right? So this instruction also has been given to these distribution utilities by this policy. So all in all, what we can see that government is focusing on providing access to renewable source of electricity, and it is again creating a demand for renewable energy electricity. See, we are producing from wind energy, solar energy, and those electricity are not being properly consumed. So giving incentive will create additional demand, so that the renewable energy produced is being used for a purpose which again creates green environment. because after producing green hydrogen, wherever it will be used, it will create positive impact, right? So you can say this policy is framed to map both the requirements in terms of demand as well as supply of renewable energy. Now, other than providing access to renewable energy source, even few more incentives has been given, like the company can install their unit in, they can get the land in solar park. See, solar parks were created for creating solar energy, but they have a huge area of land. That land can be utilized by any company who is producing green hydrogen. And to streamline the demand, and provide competitive bidding structure for energy produced by green hydrogen, the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy has been instructed to oversee the demand and competitive market for, or competitive bidding structure for selling of those produced resources, right? So these are the incentive provided to any company who is installing a unit for green hydrogen production. Now, after the incentives, we will see the areas which has been ignored, or broadly you can say issues. So most of the incentives are focused towards supply side, right? Supply side. How to increase access to renewable energy, how a suitable environment can be provided so that the companies can produce more green hydrogen. So mostly it is focusing on supply side, but clearly it has not thought about or given any incentive to create more demand. So demand side needs are been ignored. So because if you see currently most of the companies who are using grey hydrogen, so the cost of grey hydrogen is around 1/4 of green hydrogen. So see the difference, it is 1/4 cost. So mostly all the industries who require hydrogen, they will definitely want grey hydrogens, right? Because it is a huge cost. It won't be viable for those industries to switch immediately to green hydrogen if any incentive is not provided to them, because it won't be a viable solution. So they will need initially what they will need is a viability gap funding. Because if you suddenly tell an industry that you use green hydrogen in place of grey hydrogen and it costs them 4 times, then they will be reluctant to accept this transition, right? So initially we will be requiring to have a viability gap funding, which the government will fund that particular gap which occurred due to the transition from grey to green. So the policy is not talking about anything about viability gap funding, which is a drawback. Even the incentives provided, mostly they will face some federal issues. Why federal issues? because the renewable energy through open access, banking, wheeling, all these things comes under the concurrent list. Concurrent list. So implementing those incentives will be difficult when two or more states are involved. So we will have to deal with these kind of federal issues in implementing the incentives of this policy. So these are the issues we talked about, but in concluding remark, what we can say is, see, this is a first step towards green hydrogen, right? So it is a welcome step, but a lot need to be done so that the industries, the big industries are willing to accept this transition. So for that, since it is in evolving state, the government or policy makers have to keep an eye of the evolving issues, what amendments need to be done in the policy, so that not only in supply side, even in demand side, it can be increased, demand can be increased, so that more and more companies are willing to accept green hydrogen in place of grey hydrogen. Okay.